Welcome into the blockchain basement. It's a major day for price action. Up and down chaos as we're on the edge of our seat waiting for a major Trump announcement in a speech on the heels of his meeting with Xi Jinping in London regarding all of this trade chaos that's caused so much uncertainty in the market. But altcoins are waking up pretty nicely. We got some good looking stuff. Yes, an early show today. Kelly Kellum taking care of some business, taking care of his health. So he's going to be going live here in a minute. I got a very shiny co-host with me. Hello, Isaac.
What's up?
Good to see you, bro. Now, Isaac.
Yes, sir.
We're talking about, I'm going to be looking at Griffane today. Okay.
I just want to get out of the way now and be like, screw it.
It's not looking great. You mentioned they hadn't posted since April or something?
They haven't posted since April 25th, so I might cheat it and get out of it because that's almost 2 months, and that's no good.
Well, we got the smartest chat in the world, so maybe we'll make this decision together on the show today. Welcome to the show, everyone. We got Shake and Bake, Free Rich, the Nikitas, Alexander G. Appreciate your reposting the show every day, Alexander G. Thank you very much. Sufficient Enough, Ironhide, Crypto, That Guy, Boogaloo Bum, my man, and MCO, all the peeps here. So now let's get into it. Make sure to follow me on X here at Druth Crypto. I was going after Dave Portnoy late last night. I had a beer. I had a 10% beer I slammed and then started troll posting Dave Portnoy. I heard that Dave Portnoy is only 4 feet 11 inches tall, short, if true. And this is the inner feelings that I had last night. The worst part about being right about Bitcoin and the price action is that retail is still asleep at the wheel. And not only that, retail is out there rioting instead of being focused on making money here. But it is the world that we live in. So now let's take a look at Bitcoin's price action. I am starting to be enticed. It's showing a moment. I mean, I'm seeing this VWAP clip to the upside, volatility move to the downside. We are in a kind of a price reset. It's tapping this previous kind of shelf right now. So we're going to keep an eye on this. I might be at risk or not if I were to be long in this. Kind of feeling sketchy about it, but I'm going to be keeping an eye on this massive 1 minute candle, or actually 15-minute candle is about a little bit more than 0.5% to move down, but it's trying to come back up aggressively. But on the show today, we're going to talk about our path towards that $150,000 target and why it makes sense. And it's something that we could actually be seeing in the short term. I know it sounds super far away, but if you're looking at this thing on the larger time frames, 150K, we're printing our way on the weekly candle movements, and I do feel like that'd be right under that just total target that I have. My target goes from about 160 on up to $200,000 for Bitcoin this cycle. So you know what? We're long and on the way up there, and then we do have a very, very interesting top signal to use in confluence with the Pi cycle top indicator to know when to kind of de-risk, maybe roll everything back into Bitcoin, real estate, things of that nature. So we're going to be paying attention to that. It's a great post from Benjamin Cowan. But the whole goal here is to fight against the Federal Reserve's stealing of our value, you guys. Really what's been going on is that the dollar is fake and the money isn't real. You don't own any of it. The banks don't even have the money that they're supposed to have in the background. It's just numbers on a screen. Always been this way since 1933, and then the gold standard being destroyed in 1971. So we have to keep all this in mind. As the dollar loses 90% of its value, they just keep printing trillions of dollars through rehypothecation. So we are in crypto to escape this rat race and to really take control of our own value and our assets. Where the hell? Here it is. This is the move. Arculus cold storage, man. If you don't have cold storage, use cold storage. Keep your crypto off exchanges and take control of your lives, for God's sakes. What do we got in the chat here? We got some, maybe a cup and handle we can look at on Plume potentially, or PLU. I'll check that out. Dizzy Gang thinks $180,000 Bitcoin this year. ICP moon signals. Will ICP return? This is a big question. It's either a way to lose an immense amount of money for people that are buying in to a chain that's been kind of faking it for years on end. But there is money to be made in ICP on the pumps when the rest of the altcoin market rips. Let's hop on over to the rest of the altcoin market and check it out here. So right now, Bitcoin is sitting here 108.7. You know, I was looking at this morning. I think, you know, being slightly exposed in, you know, to try to find longs in this momentary washout for scalps is not crazy. But if I'm looking at this in aggregate, the top end of this previous kind of resistance spot at about 106.5 makes a lot of sense for me. I talked about that in the Discover Investments Group Discord earlier this morning, just to make sure we got a good bellwether and a feel for the market should we see a little bit of a reset down to those levels. So I am watching out for that for kind of a back up the truck moment. And yesterday, man, it was brutal. $110 million worth of Bitcoin shorts were liquidated in the time span of 60 minutes. So this is a quick reminder and the pain within Pepe's eyes. Look at the pain within Pepe's eyes.
So sad.
To not get overexposed and get wrecked in these violent market moves, you guys, because this market is the most volatile on the planet. You can make a lot of money, but you can also lose it very quickly. The whole goal here in crypto is to make money slowly through concise movements and protect it quickly so that we make sure that it's still there and we can live to fight another day. Now, BlackRock and the IBIT Spot Bitcoin ETF has become the fastest growing ETF in the entire history of our markets, reaching $70 billion assets under management within the shortest amount of time. So this is absolutely insane to see Bitcoin and the upswing to it being the fastest in history. And we do have to compare this to gold. A quick price comparison to gold, but then I'm going to actually look into the history of gold's ETF real quick to kind of look at a chaotic theory that might be going on in the background of my mind here. So this is Bitcoin versus gold. Gold in the gold. Okay. Actually, no, gold is in the black. They should have flipped it. So gold's in the black with just this consistent move up to its $3,400 price point, which it's writhing in between right now, 3,300 and 34. Bitcoin with a much more volatile move, but now working in tandem. And something that is interesting that I do want to take a look at is thinking about this BlackRock ETF becoming one of the fastest assets under management growth paces that we've ever seen on the stock market. I do want to go back and look at gold from the time frame of the ETFs being released. Let's see if I can find it easily. I always jack this up. So gold,
it's on the AU, right?
Yeah, maybe it's under AU. I always jack that up. I don't look at it much. Gold futures. I mean, I guess we can look at now. God, I don't want to look at the. Why did I pull up Apple? What the hell's going on there? We have some stories about Apple too. It keeps auto-populating to Apple for me. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I want to go look at this. Hold on. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to go to the monthly. And this line right here is when the ETFs were released. Now, the scary up-only thought that's going on in my mind as we see Bitcoin get now compared to gold, as we see these market managers with heavy sway over decisions made on Wall Street, now we're comparing Bitcoin to gold directly. And when I'm looking at this, the gold ETF was released in 2004. And it took gold essentially about 8 years to really cool off from this ETF being released. So this is the terrifying up-only thought for, you know, me and my idea of being able to play this 4-year cycle to the degree that we've seen in the past comes into play. And I do want you guys' thoughts in the chat. Like, is a 8-year bull run for Bitcoin possible? I mean, we're seeing major implications of this through BlackRock kind of leading the market. They've been consistently buying when the dips have come. Now they're out there, you know, shilling Bitcoin to some of the biggest money market managers on the planet. And we're set up for the situation where now, yesterday, the SEC was talking about DeFi having basically a license to kill banks. And it really begs the question, like, we might be at that crescendo moment. I mean, Isaac, what would you do if we just ended up seeing Bitcoin just consistently run for 8 years in a row with very little pullback? I mean, how would you handle that situation?
It would just be I would start rotating literally everything I have into Bitcoin at that point. And again, you're gonna see banks and government just like continue to pour in, and people like Michael Saylor and Strategy and BlackRock continue to pour more and more into these Bitcoin ETFs and just Bitcoin in general spot. I just feel like everyone's gonna shift their focus from like fiat and go straight into Bitcoin and just continue that for the 8-year or so run. That'd be pretty insane though.
Yeah. Dizzy Gang saying he's going to be selling at the end of the year regardless. Don't want to get stuck holding the bags again. No more round tripping. That is like Bitcoin is something like I've been adding to my Bitcoin stack through just trades, like turning the tether into Bitcoin for like the forever hold. Altcoins, I am 100% Getimus Maximus at the end of the year with. There is no marriage to altcoins that I will hold. Bitcoin is even more preferable to me than expanding the real estate, and starting to move into like the rental section. The thought of being actively taxed and having to deal with horrible tenants terrifies me, because the original idea was to build out this real estate, this rental portfolio. And honestly, seeing the expansion of insurance prices, taxes continuously going up, it really doesn't seem as enticing to me anymore. Alexander G says round trip is her middle name. Oh man. Oh man, you're scaring me with that comment. You're scaring me with that comment, Alexander. I hope that's Bitcoin. You're planning a round trip right there. This is kind of a crazy saga. Is Taco's bringing this up? Andrew Tate shows his winning trade. This is in response to Andrew Tate. He put out a couple posts that I think are now deleted. Look, he deleted the post, but Andrew was talking about some longs that he was taking. But apparently he didn't understand that you can't really LARP on blockchain. And this shows his actual winnings and losses here being, just a general aggregate loss of $600,000. So, he's posting the wins, and, it's hard in trading, I understand, but not all is as it seems. This is why it pays to be a part of, and also side note, I'm going to be getting that, the discount code for NFT holders and OG members of the blockchain basement. So what we're going to do here is I got to control, kind of the inflow here. So send me a DM at my Twitter account. Send me a DM at my Twitter account, and we'll get you that discount code for the Discover Investments Group Discord. So just make sure you're connected with me at Druth Crypto on Twitter, and then send me a DM, and I'll get that discount code over to you. Absolutely. It sounds like they're getting that worked out in the background. But, this Andrew Tate story. It's just not all that shines is glitter and gold. And we got to remember that. Andrew Tate is probably more so making tons of money off of the what you call it? The referral links. Well, no, the OnlyFans thing, I think, that's how he started the empire, but it's like the subscription stuff that he keeps going. He just keeps the clicks going, and then he keeps making money. You got to think about it that way. So join the Discord with us, you guys. We're actively trading every single day. I got a child coming after me. Is that Bronson? Oh my God. Hello, son. He's such a cute kid. All right. Now we're moving on. The blockchain is unstoppable. We got 60% of Fortune 500 companies now working on blockchain projects. This is a report from Coinbase. Now, this is going to be biased, but the larger movement of Fortune 500 companies, I think, is still yet to come. It's probably more so 60% of Fortune 500 companies are getting their ducks in a row to start working on blockchain projects internally. Kind of like what we've seen with JP Morgan and the Onyx project. It's not like they come out with their own blockchain, within a month of releasing this, but they are working on it in the background because they acknowledge that Bitcoin is here to stay. Nikitas thinks the masses are coming. 8-year bull run. Whew. That is a terrifying up-only thought to have, right? Stephen Collin, love your show, bro. Thanks. Keep it up for all the good info. Absolutely. Thank you, Stephen, for the shout out here. Webby, I likes me my Link still. Link is one of the most bullish altcoins on the planet, and the price is so aggravating. Every time I mention my wife, hey, we're pumping a little bit, she's like, wake me up when it's she'll say, wake me up when it's $20 maybe 5 months ago. And now it's like, wake me up when it's over $50. So now I'm kind of in that spot. I hold Chainlink. I can't wait to start seeing altcoins run against Bitcoin. We are seeing the front end of dominance fall down, but I don't want to speak too soon because dominance has been very aggressive to the upside. But you know what? I'm still holding my Chainlink, looking for that big seasonal explosion here. Now we had this Eric Trump talking about traditional finance and the relationship against Bitcoin. Let's have a listen to this.
Every single person in here got those calls, right? I mean, Don and I were getting these on behalf of commercial buildings, on behalf of hard assets. Hey, guess what? Your bank account is gone. You know, the 600 people that you have working in the hotel that's 700 yards behind us right now that I built, you no longer have a traditional bank to bank that hotel because they don't like the fact that you're wearing a hat that's red that says "Make America Great Again." Guys, we probably would have never found crypto had it not been for the very same scumbag who are coming after all of you. I mean, how many people in here? I've heard the stories from everyone. How many people in here had Wells Fargo call them up and, you know what? I owned one Bitcoin, and because of that, they found out and they canceled my accounts. I mean, my accounts just stopped working.
Crazy.
Guys, you realize how corrupt the system is. I mean, every single person this system was weaponized. Traditional finance was absolutely weaponized. And, I always say, the enemy of your enemy is often your friend. That's what happened between the Trump family and the crypto community. And I'm not sure if
This is super interesting. Because remember, last cycle, Trump was like, Bitcoin is a competitor against the dollar, and we don't like it. The enemy of your enemy turns into your friend, and it sounds like that's kind of what happened to the Trump family. Speaking of one Bitcoin, we got Nikitas in the chat saying that his wife is now a believer because she watched his Bitcoin go from $75 to $110,000. That is absolutely epic, Nikitas. Absolutely love that. Let's keep listening to the rest of this Trump speech, though.
we would have won the same way. I think we would have won, but I'm not sure if we would have won in the same decisive manner had it not been for this incredible community that was by our side the entire time. And I hate using the word hate, but honestly, I would love to see some of the big banks go extinct because honestly, they deserve it.
I'm liking this guy.
Oh,
I'm liking this guy.
I like that.
That's big words to be saying to the industrial complex of what we know as money and banking right now. He's taking a leap saying that stuff. All right. Okay. I see you, Trump son. Oh, there's my daughter walking around. Hey, Bree. I got the kiddos at the office. I mean, it's very awesome to have all the children with me, and then it's very high velocity. I love you, honey. All right, so now we're going to go to another top signal here that we got to watch out for, and this is Benjamin Cowan's preferred. It looks like one of his preferred top signals. Historically, the Bitcoin market cycle top is when the 200 weekly simple moving average crosses the prior all-time high. A very, very interesting confluence of data points. Deezy back-checked it on the morning show today. It does look very, very solid. And something that I want to look at here, let's see if I can zoom in a little bit for you guys. Maybe. No, it's not going to let me. Okay. Well, I'll just kind of point this out. So this originating, kind of all-time high peak signal back here in 2014 was when, your 2011 high crossed this 200 SMA. And that was right on the dot, kind of the end of 2013. And this really kind of lines up pretty concisely here when we have the previous all-time high that was established in 2014 cross on the time frame of late 2017, early 2018. That was indeed the top for Bitcoin in the 2018-2017 bull market, around $17,000 to $18,000. And again, you take that line that was established the $18,000 level and go across. It intersects with the 200 SMA in late 2021. Very, very interesting. Now, the nuance here is that the Pi cycle top indicator crossed on these previous tops of the market very concisely, but the Pi cycle top indicator put its signal out in this $64,000 Bitcoin range, but the $64,000 Bitcoin range was the true buying power top of Bitcoin. This indicator, this 200 SMA, crosses at the fiat all-time high level. So just some interesting nuance. And looking at these, Deezy was kind of given the outlook of this. It looks like, and I agree with Deezy on this, it looks like December, January. I'm actually going to go about a month or two after Deezy's thoughts on this, but in general, within that 3-month target range of December to February of 2026, where this 200 SMA will cross with that previous all-time high of $64,000, thus giving us another top signal to watch out for in Bitcoin. Now, if that means, then you wait and you have a bunch of Tether ready to buy more Bitcoin, or if you're ready to tangibly change your life, everyone's situation is different in the upside that they're looking for out of the markets. So just do some thinking and some reflection for yourself over the next few months on what that level of price appreciation would look like that would actually tangibly change your life. And then you're much more better equipped to pull that trigger when the time does come. Now, when we see what's happening in Bitcoin and this explosion upwards, and now we're figuring, where's the top signal going to be and how much juice can we squeeze out of this market before things start settling down, the larger world is moving in opposite direction of being settled, but in the bad way. We see, conflicts in terms of civil unrest breaking out first in California, but it does look like it's spreading across city centers. And this is a quick reminder. This is a great reminder from Liz Churchill talking about the Soros Cloward Piven strategy, the strategy of forcing political change leading to societal collapse. Through the orchestrated crisis, the Cloward Piven strategy seeks to hasten the fall of capitalism by overloading the government with bureaucracy and a flood of impossible demands, amassing massive unpayable national debt, check, and other methods such as unfettered immigration, big check, thus pushing society into a crisis mode and an economic collapse by overwhelming the system. It's almost like a DDoS attack on the current system that we have right now. This is the current time frame, and really, things are heating up across the board. We saw Dallas, Texas is kind of the next hotspot for these anti-remigration protests to spread. It's weird, the anti-remigration. How about just let's admit it, we need to deport a bunch of millions of illegals. That's truly what's going on. And they did get some confluence that it does seem the Marines are on the way in, but we have some on the ground footage of protesters and what they're seeing. Let's have a look at this.
So we're in the middle of the icy riots here in LA. People are screaming. I think I just saw a cop throw hands with a furry, and Greg's trying to light a damn dart. Okay, so I think it's time I get the fuck out of here. Someone said the Marines are coming, and I don't know where Greg is, so let me know where I should go next.
All right. And now it does seem we have verification that the Marine supplies have showed up, and the protesters are not going to like this. A massive shipment of Monster Energy drink, and I'm sure some crayons are going to be sent along with the most deadly fighting force on the planet, which is the United States Marines. Honestly, this is a powder keg. And my message yesterday about just simply getting out of city centers remains. And my message of not falling for the bait, says patriots, remains. I don't want to see my countrymen or my fellow patriots out there falling for the bait. Let the Marines, this is the different setup that we have now. And this is that Trump understands the gloves are off when it comes to these anti-deportation protest, and he understands that the move is simply to bring in the military right away, and it looks like that's what he's doing. I think that the Marines are going to handle that just fine, but with them handling it in one city center, then the velocity of information will move, and the fervent anger with the other city centers will start popping off. So just if you're in a city center, please do be careful. We have a U.S. Northcom statement verifying that these additional military personnel resources are in Los Angeles as of right now. This is from the Peterson Space Force base in Colorado. U.S. Northern Command has activated Marine Infantry Battalion that was placed in alert status over the weekend. Around 700 Marines with the 2nd Battalion, 7th Marines. The 1st Marine Division will seamlessly integrate with the Title 10 forces under Task Force 51, who are protecting federal personnel and federal property in the greater Los Angeles area. And now on this subject matter, and in terms of cleaning up the mass immigration, I completely do agree with Trump in doing so. This is breaking out worldwide. Those civil unrest and riots are taking place in Ireland now as well. And this is in response to a sexual assault that took place on a girl. She was assaulted, and the locals took to burning their locations to the ground. So it's heating up across the ground. Just had to highlight this. You know, this is the collapse of civilized society in tandem with the collapse up to Bitcoin in our assets. Now use that value to escape city centers and all of that goodness that we can do with the value. Ethereum seeing some value added to its staking. It reached an all-time high in terms of staked Ethereum, with almost $35 million worth of staked Ethereum locked away. This is looking good. And the price action for Ethereum, it's starting to get hot and heavy. You know, I'm still more accustomed to trading Bitcoin, and my Ethereum is really, my plays for Ethereum are on the base ecosystem. So I found more upside within DeFi tokens on the base ecosystem, but I am getting enticed by Solana's Marinade. I know that there's that ETF rolling out. I think I have a post from Talk on how he's interacting with Marinade as well. Spot ETFs for Ethereum, though, saw their 4th straight week of inflows. 97,000 Ethereum have been added to these ETFs. Total holdings now sit at 3.7 mil. Still 41,000 Ethereum below the February peak. So there's still ground to gain for Ethereum ETF holdings comparison to where they were in February. Accumulation is steady, but room remains further to the upside for Ethereum. And if I'm looking at the overall chart, let's hop on over. First and foremost, we'll chart out the altcoins and our current situation, starting with Bitcoin dominance. That's the first and foremost place we should always start. So let's hop on over here. So Bitcoin dominance, a little bit of a move down. These are monthly candles. Okay. We'll start very, very zoomed out. Kind of looking a little weak, isn't it? Kind of looking a little weak, right?
106.
Okay. Okay. This is starting off well. Let's go down to the weekly. Now, this is a lower high, and maybe that golden fib peter out moment Kelly Kellum was warning us about. He wasn't really warning us about it. He's swinging sweet symphonies to me, talking about Bitcoin dominance, because Bitcoin dominance can fall as the price of Bitcoin rises. It's just interest in the aggregate market outpaces it. So this is something I'm watching pretty closely, and this is playing into why we saw a lot of 10-digit or double-digit gains in altcoins over the past 2 days here. I do want to actually go check out Coin Market Cap as well. Let's go over here to Coin Market Cap and let's see the biggest gainers. We got Uniswap up that 26%, and then these DeFi protocols rising hard off of those comments from the SEC's chair, Paul Atkins, given that license to kill for DeFi, man, a license to kill and go after the banking infrastructure in and of itself, offering that sweet yield, offering lending services through crypto, and Bitcoin, the ground of which crypto walks upon, is here to stay. So these institutions are more comfortable interacting with things like this. This is why we see these. Very, very cool to see. Pudgy Penguin's trying to make a comeback. Let's look at this. This is a blast from the past. Can Pudgy survive?
No.
He's trying. Look, he's trying.
Trying. Not that hard, though.
Matt Fury's Cat O'Malley. I don't even know what that is. Caleb, don't feel stupid. If you had a strong feeling to long 3 days ago, your mind's in the right place. You can't it's the same battle that I go through being a content creator, a dad of 4, and trying to be a good husband, is that you cannot live and breathe always on the charts, but at least you knew where that market was going. So don't feel dumb, Mr. Caleb. What do we think of MAMO? I do actually want to go look at MAMO again. Me and Isaac were looking at it this morning. Isaac is a AI robot.
I am a robot.
No,
I'm not real.
So he's
I'm
fake.
a figment of your AI generated content.
Yeah. This is a shelf it's making. It's a very new product release. for how new it is, only being up 168% gives me a potential entry point. I just didn't, we keep getting reminded of it on these major peaks. So I'm more so looking for something within the shelf about 60 cents, 77 cents would make sense. God, that's terrible. I want MAMO though. I want MAMO. This is like a DeFi AI agent that we were talking to Luke Youngblood about while he was still developed, before it even released on this channel here. And this one is very enticing to me because one, Moonwell is the first protocol to be able to provide that banking routing number and account number. So somehow they got the in with banks to be able to do that, the existing infrastructure of banks. And two, MAMO is an AI agent that is basically streamlining the movements within DeFi, finding different better yield on whatever protocol, and then moving the assets literally for you. And that is a huge use case that in my mind makes sense for AI agents to find. But there's a bunch of use cases for AI agents. The bigger thing that I was talking to Crypto Face about last night, and he completely agreed with me, is that the AI adjacent crypto projects, that is not cutting it in this current environment. We have literal AI agents that are, active. They're using their native token, and they're not just there saying that they could, in theory, run the AI, on the blockchain. They are tangibly doing it. So MAMO, I feel the same as you, MCO. I need a small cap AI play. I don't really feel like I have much AI exposure, and MAMO might be that place where I find that little because it's a $20 million market cap. This thing just came out, and I really like this. I really like this thing. We're talking about MAMO with Luke Youngblood really made me quite bullish about it before it even came out. So now I've seen it come out. I didn't get in early and then decide to talk about it. I've seen some price structure be built on this shelf, and I'm liking what I'm seeing. Now, one that kind of came out of the left field here is AXLR. It's up by, I think, even more than this. It surged by 73.5% today following Upbit's announcement to list the token. You want to go check out AXLR? I know a lot of people, not a lot, but a couple of people had mentioned that they've been holding this thing. It was a little bit sleepy, and they were getting rid of it right before the pump here. It's up 65% on the day, but it's got a lot of ground to make up. Look at this. So this is the all-time graph of this thing. And there's a lot of ground that it needs to make up for that. Now, the market cap, much higher. Okay, so we've had some inflationary pressure for sure on this thing, but it is pumping on this Upbit listing in a pretty big way. Holy cow. It's just trying to reclaim these, December 24 levels, So me personally, like, the structure of this graph does not spark joy. The escape pump, I think you're going to have a lot of profit taking at about 86 cents. So if it continues and it hits this dollar range, you're going to see a lot of profit taking. But it's nice to see it come back up. Just looking at this in general, I think you're going to have a lot of revenge traders that got in on this thing at $1 or even more. And they're going to be looking for that GDS Maximus moment right there. Just keeping an eye on that. A wonderful wife talking about Tau, people being all in on Tau. Tau was one of the more painful calls of my crypto career because we knew it was going to be a huge thing at $40, and I didn't buy it. Crash out.
Sad.
Dude, this right here in this range. And then boom, AI. And look at this thing. This thing honestly looks very, very good. The general range being developed. Isaac gives the ladies escape pumps. Oh my God. Unbelievable. Axelar was a tax loss harvest for Adam Bombetti. Sometimes it happens. Tau, I think, is one of the more tangible AI plays. Absolutely. I think when you ask me like what's the best AI plays, it's always like Tau and virtuals feel the best. And my preferred levels, I mean, it is trying to break out of this range, but has not done it yet. and I would not be surprised to see it come back down and play in this upper 200 band. The upper 200s, like 280 to 350. So for this one, because I do want to start just adding a little bit to the AI plays here. My preferred entry point is basically 280 to low 300s for Tal, but it is a very good project. No denying that. Very, very good project.
Speaking of AI, I want to stay on the subject for a second.
Yeah.
Griffane and why I'm getting out of it.
Let's talk
I'm
about
dumping my Griffane tokens.
Is it over?
It's over. I'm going to dump it. I'm going to dump it later.
You're just dumping it today or what? Because you just mentioned something on their X.
Yeah. I don't really care for that escape pump anymore based off of the fact that if you go to Griffane, it's at griffane.com or just Griffane on X. And you go to their latest post. Their latest post is April 25th. And if you are, what's it called? If you're ever in a project and you go to their Twitter and they haven't posted for at least 2 weeks on end, they're not doing anything. They're not developing anything new. Their website stayed the same. There's nothing been changed since I've started holding it. And it's just...
So they kind of stopped working on it.
They just stopped working on it, stopped posting. So I'm gonna get out of here, but I am gonna look for a new AI play here because it might be MAMO because I do love my base ecosystem, but I also like Solana.
That MAMO thing looked interesting to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just loved how bullish it was, and when we talked to Luke Youngblood about it, yeah, it was super cool. But it's either going to be virtuals or it's either going to be MAMO. Those are my little.
I know TJ has been talking about Hey Anon.
Yeah.
Let's go look at Hey Anon. Let's go look at Hey Anon. Kind of, we're shopping today. Unexpected shopping. The Hey Anon's up 10% today. It has not lost these, origination lows, which is great. So on the day, it's up 10%. Weekly, it's only up 11%. So you haven't missed out too much on just general weekly movement. And it is down on the month by 23% still. Not a bad looking graph. Not a bad looking graph. Another one that this reminds me of AIXBT. I'm going into this raw. 2% on the day. Let's look at the all time. This one again doesn't look too unhealthy. So this is good. On the monthly, okay, because I still see AIXBT is very, very active. Very, very active. Pre-Rich bringing up virtuals. That's another strong one. Virtuals. We just looked at this yesterday. I'm pretty sure it's going to look the same. It's only up by 6% today, but this overall structure of higher lows, very, very strong. And virtuals is where a lot of these AI agents develop out of. So, Isaac, it ain't easy, man. It ain't easy. When
virtuals protocol is actually what Griffane was built out of.
Yeah.
Stuff. Yeah.
Well, and same with AIXBT too. Right?
Yeah.
It ain't easy cutting losses, but if you haven't seen them posting anything in that amount of time, it hurts.
You might want to reconsider your positions. That's all.
Absolutely. And now, so I've been, this Maple Finance syrup has been on our radar for a while. The price action of the new rebranded token has been pretty good so far, but this came out earlier. The syrup USD currently experiencing issues preventing deposits from new users due to technical difficulties with the AML provider. Existing users can deposit as usual and withdrawals remain fully operational. So that was good. The backdoor, the exit was still working. But new users were not being let in. The provider working on resolving the issue. Let's go check out the Maple price. This is one that we kind of got out of the way before the huge fall. And then, now it's got this rebranded token. The rebranded token, there's no denying it's been going well. So it's at 40 cents right now. This is one that I was happy to get away out of the problem before it happened. But it is still out there trying to chunk along. So I got to keep it on my radar. And I'm still greedy about this. I'm looking 30 cents, maybe 40 cents. I'm not going to pay 40 cents a unit, 48 cents a unit. If I can find a pullback down to this mid 25-cent range, great. But I'm going to track the protocol because I think Maple can, if Maple fails, I think that's going to be a black eye for RWAs in general. So I have kind of a few reasons for wanting to keep tracking it. And I did see South Korea, it's just a side note on the world crypto news. South Korea is unveiling plans to allow stable coins. We see the aggregate move towards allowing stable coins more so. And speaking of weird situations with blockchains, this one, SWI DeFi exchange Cedus is now back in action after a $233 million exploit. We cover the exploit when it happens. Cedus is one of the projects in the SWI ecosystem we were paying attention to catch some downhill action from SWI's expansion. And honestly, this is not bad. Isaac, you see this?
I do indeed.
That's not bad.
Let's
see here. Not
Still
bad.
has 200 million to get out in total supply.
Yeah, because Nikitas is saying RIP SWI, but I don't know. It didn't. SWI like barely even winced from the exploit. It was Cedus that winced. But Cedus is one of the biggest DeFi spots on SWI. So this makes me think maybe I'd take advantage of that little momentary FUD here. I don't know if this is trending to zero. It's going through problems, but these are higher lows. And you know what? In general, pretty much all these damn altcoins trend to zero if you put it on the monthly chart. On this all time for Cedus, though, I could see like 1% of my play here. Now I want to go into this. Trump is going to be coming out with this speech today from Fort Bragg. We may have to cover this live. There is fucking J Chains. Can you take me higher? Yeah. Shout out to J Chains. And shout out to Kelly Kellum. Got the physical good bill of health ready for the pumpage. I don't know what kind of pumpage he's talking about, but we're going to be going live with him. We're going to him after this show here. Good to see you in the chat, Mr. Kelly Kellum. Glad you're feeling healthy. It is probably all those steaks that you make. You know how to make a mean steak, my man. The Commerce Secretary, Howard Lutnick, has come out and talking about the trade talks with China are going well so far. They're continuing all day today. But we're going to have kind of the result I'm expecting of these trade talks conversated about from Trump himself later on today from that speech from Fort Bragg. And the Pentagon now is needing your future financial support with $62 billion needed to modernize nuclear weapons. They're looking for some juice. But us in the retail side and the investment side, I think we could find juice from the investments of the nuclear sector. This is one that I've talked about quite a while ago. I think it was like a year or two ago. And it's very, very interesting to see this massive investment. This is the RollsRoyce small modular reactor sector. And we were talking about this exact sector and this exact company with Dagnum PI. I think it was like a year or two ago. And now we get a expansion into this from the UK nuclear gamble. We have 14 billion euros on Sizewell C for Glow Up, the UK tossing a cool 14.2 billion euros or $19 billion at Sizewell C nuclear plant in Suffolk, hyping up a ticket as the golden age of clean energy and that juice of 6 million homes. So now we see, even in the one of the more surprising things, not just that it was the exact company and sector of nuclear that we figured would get the juice, but that the UK is kind of starting that off, because the UK has been so, nuclear energy is so bad. And, the Greta Thunbergs of the world talking about how horrible nuclear energy is. And then to see, the UK leading up this initiative with RollsRoyce on small modular reactors, quite a confluence of things. But it is a big flex and a movement towards, you can't completely ditch fossil fuels, but a balance of nuclear, fossil fuels, and solar and wind is probably what we're going to be looking like in reality over the next 10, 20 years here. So we have the RollsRoyce of nukes now. That's right, Pat McCrouch. That is right. Shout out to him, And this is interesting on the macro side as well. The Golden Telegraph came out with this. Japan finance minister is talking about the country promoting more domestic ownership of Japanese government bonds. Japan is the largest holder of U.S. government bonds. The shift towards more domestic ownership of their bonds might, put some sell pressure on the U.S. bond sector. But in general, I think that Japan's going to have to continue holding those U.S. bonds to keep the trade relationships open with the United States. Just my 2 cents there. We are the military arm of Japan at this point after Hiroshima, and they got to keep that relationship solid. So speaking of keeping relationships solid, Robert F. Kennedy just fired all 17 CDC vaccine advisory members. I am rigged up.
I am erect.
Stupendous. Absolutely stupendous. No tears shed for me, considering the biased information they put out for years regarding the COVID cases and failed COVID jab experiments. Good job, RFK. And I do see that he is working in the background to get those damn, the red 40s out of our food, all of those weird chemicals. It was kind of a crazy moment for me, Isaac.
What?
And I can't even take credit for this because it was my wife that put me on the Methylene Blue. Okay. And I only mentioned Methylene Blue like a few times. It does make you pee dark blue. I mean, if you start taking Methylene Blue, there is no denying. It was shocking for me.
What are the benefits?
Pee blue. So it's a better way to absorb and handle nutrients. It's like if people have a nutrient uptake deficiency, then it really helps that side out. For me, it was just like mental clarity. I don't really think that I have a difficulty, kind of taking in nutrients and absorbing them. My system, I think, works pretty good in general, but the mental clarity is pretty strong. I take it on and off probably every month. I'm on it for a month and then I'm off it for a month. It is a little weird when you're peeing blue, but you know what? Shout out to RFK, man. Shout out to RFK. That's another one of those, little sneaky health movements that RFK takes as well. Now, speaking of sneaky health movements, this is Veteran Crypto highlighting this for me. The Wuhan Scientist busted at Detroit airport with biological material for the 3rd time this month. I'm not going to say his name. Last name Han, flew in from Shanghai, told agents that he was just visiting. And what she didn't mention, so it's a she, 4 packages of biological samples already shipped ahead, labeled as plastic cups, but packed with roundworm material. She denied any lab connections. Then feds pulled the receipts, packages tied to the University of Michigan lab, her deleted phone history, and her PhD work out of Wuhan's Huazhong University. Then pressed, she folded. The FBI called it a threat to national security. The visa was previously denied, and the research story incoherent. One more link to a growing chain of Chinese researchers quietly moving biological material into the U.S. Oh, fun. Man.
Lit.
So Resident Evil was not fake. Resident Evil was like ahead of its time. It was just telling us what was coming. No one's saying COVID, but no one's ignoring the Wuhan link either. And I'm sure that they're going to find some craziness behind this, and they won't tell us a damn thing about it. That's probably what's going to happen. So Steve Jobs probably spinning in his grave right now. The major Apple mistake. So this is the update that they did to Apple devices, where now they overlay that little kind of utilities tab on top of everything else. I don't know what the hell. Isaac, I mean, does this trigger your tism seeing this?
Yes. This is like a brain fuck.
Yeah. I mean, what are you even supposed to do here?
And they're all transparent on top of that.
Yeah.
It's just that's a cluster.
Well, and in seeing this, it looks like customers were very unpleased because they took to rioting and looting in downtown LA. Let's have a look.
We had a bad update.
They're pissed. Oh, look, shoppers.
People who are obeying the law.
Yeah. So if you're in a city center and you see everyone kind of drabbed in these all black sweatshirts, this is like a bunch of Deezys when he's off air. If you see a bunch of Deezys show up outside your local stores,
Probably leave as soon as
Probably.
possible.
Probably best to stay out of the way of that. BG on the scene. I do want to give a shout out to him. His name on X is very loaded. It's like Brendan Gutenschwager. This is the guy that captured the Rittenhouse movement live. He's very, very good at catching some of the craziest stuff going down live and being on the scene. His name is true to what he does. BG on the scene on Twitter. A great follow. Nikitas probably. I can't even dive into that, but you're not lying. You're not lying. You know, the craziest thing, there was like a road rage shooting, which don't really happen that often where I live. And the cops gave the description of the shooter, and everyone's like, that's racist. It's called a description. It's not really racist. Now, is Mr. Beast racist? This is the question being asked here. Let's watch this. This is kind of crazy. So Mr. Beast did a charity event where he installed many wells in Africa. This is going viral. I wanted to talk about it. This is in wells in. And now locals are reporting that nearly every single well that Mr. Beast donated has become abandoned. Okay, moving on was the controversy. Doing good. Mr. Beast provided both the wells and maintenance training to the locals 1 year ago. Here's him with his cross-eyed, dead-eyed stare. And he gave the training for the water wells and the equipment. And then now the people claim that the Water is Life Well initiative was colonial and doomed to fail. How the hell is it doomed? So he gave the training and the equipment, and they're saying that it was doomed to fail. Absolutely incredible. And you know what? This music's bothering me. I'll just keep playing this here. So, and there was a lot of love for him when he originally did this. Like people were like, thank you so much. This is great. You're installing wells. Now they claim the well is doomed to fail. And Maggate Wade, what a unfortunate first name. Is that a first name?
I guess so.
Maggate?
DI.
Did I say Maggate?
I think you did.
That's a mistake.
I think you said Maggate.
That's a mistake.
Maggate
that was a mistake. That was a misspeak. Maggate Wade, a Senegalese blogger, says if Mr. Beast generally wanted to help Africa, he could redirect his enormous resources and influence towards enabling African solutions. Wouldn't a solution be providing a water well and training to how to maintain water? I mean, isn't water like one of the basic needs in life?
Her take is so bad.
It's importing a terrible take. One. Like, what do you mean? There isn't a way. How do they get water before mechanical wells? Isn't it just hand dug wells?
Her solution is, her idea of a solution is obviously anti-Western, which is anti-modern, and just wants to continue living that old school style of how they would be. That's what I'm getting from this.
Isaac, okay, as in Quince Ocha himself.
Yes.
Okay, so you are in Quince Ocha. We understand that.
I've been deemed so, yes.
So are you saying that the Western solution of mechanical water wells is kind of the problem here, and they need to go back to hand dug wells? Or
no, I said quite the opposite, actually.
I want to kind of dive into this because this is insane to me. This is insane to me that they're mad at Mr. Beast, who spent millions of dollars and a bunch of his time to like move water wells in. And oh God, World War 2008, the solution into drinking water is to not have any. Make rain dances great again. This is so whack to me. Like, how could you be mad at Mr. Beast for doing this? It's so weird. Yeah, absolutely unbelievable. I don't know. I mean, so what do you think, Isaac? Should they just go back to digging holes?
I mean,
holes.
Sure. If they want to do that and spend their time digging in random places, hoping they find it, where you could use Western technology to locate these wells 10 times quicker, dig them 10 times quicker, and be able to train the locals and the people who live there to get water at a quicker pace. And not only is it just water, but it's clean water.
Yeah. Very weird.
But,
Very
you know,
weird take.
whatever.
Yeah. Mr. Beast did get rid of that Chris girl, the dude girl.
So yeah, the Transformer.
Yeah, the Transformer. The Decepticon is gone, so I can let my son watch the shows now, and it doesn't drive me nuts. Now make Western society. Oh, God. Juicy, hold on.
Whoa, calm down.
Hold on.
You are banned.
Crazy.
To do it. I had to do it for you, Juicy. He's saying truths, but you know, you still get banned. You know, and I saw this. Okay, I saw this. Tim Warren's out here rewatching a lot of old Disney movies from the childhood with the son there, which new live remakes are the worst. These new, and I completely agree with this. Like the new Mermaid sucked. All of these new like kid shows, they're garbage. And it's amazing to see how advanced technology gets, and then they keep making the kid shows worse and worse and worse. Old cartoons are 100% better. Now, I want to know from the chat, because everyone's got one. Which old school Disney show were you obsessed with when you were a kid? Okay. I'll dox myself right now. When I was a kid, I watched The Little Mermaid over and over again. Probably because of the outfit, but it was the extreme villain too, like the octopus lady that had the hair. Terrifying. And now she's like that was like the OG Karen that we deal with at Rite Aid now, going nuts on you. Isaac, you have to admit it.
I'm trying to think of what Disney movie or show that I like really watched. It's like I don't have nothing that pops up because I've watched a bunch. I guess I have to go with the OG cartoon Lion King.
OG Lion King.
I watched that.
Okay, Deezy likes Goofy the Goofy movie. A Goofy movie was a good movie. Yeah. This throws me back though. They don't make them like they used to. You know, why is our child shows getting worse and worse and worse while the technology gets better and better to make movies? You know, that is aggravating.
Aladdin because Jasmine got him through puberty.
Yeah, and if you're watching this after live, I want to know. I still want to know. Well, Homeward Bound, God, Homeward Bound was good. Have you ever seen Homeward Bound?
I don't think I did. No,
and it wasn't an animation. It was like a real life movie. But and then Kernless in the Rumble chat, Fantasia, that was a good one. What VPN do you recommend? I like NordVPN. What makes a good one to a bad one? I would say that it works fast, consistently. And doesn't mess with my other applications. I like NordVPN. Mr. Kernels down in the Rumble chat here. Shout out to you. Gargoyles. I just started watching the new. You know what? The new Gargoyles was not that bad. Land Before Time. God, I just had to send us down that tailspin of nostalgia.
Get a reminisce.
You can tell I'm like getting into the late 30s now. My life is flashing before my eyes. Darkwing Duck. Oh my God. Devia. The Sandlot. You guys are just making me want to go watch those old
Zachary Martin. When Isaac was little, he loved Moana too. First of all, I have nothing to say except
You are banned.
That's all I got.
Was that like a year ago?
Yeah, that came out a year ago.
No lie though. Isaac, you need to change your voicemail, bro. You know what? Your voicemail, especially, if you end up on the ship to Taiwan and someone calls Isaac, like, call Isaac, get him on the phone. We need to man the turret. And
I guess I should address the.
Oh my God! Yeah,
I guess maybe we should. The people.
Maybe we should. Yeah, I'm going to give you the stage. Address the people. Let them know.
Address the people.
What's going on with my man?
So today at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to go to my second meeting with an Army recruiter, and I'm going to start filling out my paperwork so I can get start my processing, and I can get my dates for MEPS and get ready for the ASVAB and all that stuff. And then within the next 60 to 90 days, so about 3.5 months or so, I'll be heading off to basic training. So
He's
that's
going
gonna be
in.
fun. I'm going in, all hammered in. So I want to address the people, so y'all don't have to go attack Drew when I'm gone. But there's time.
And
It's
also,
not gonna
like
work.
the best thing is if you can call in while you're like while crazy shit's going on. You know, I don't know why it
Just
unfocused on you there.
I don't know.
But yeah, man. I mean, I respect you a lot for how much you've wanted to learn as a young dude, but then going in there and improving your knowledge in the world, your work. And what are you going? You're going in for kind of the cybersecurity focus?
Cybersecurity, yeah.
Right.
So
Okay.
I'll hopefully I'll be able to get in there. So it's just all ASVAB score based. So
Mhm. Okay.
yes,
Well, just
sir.
gotta let everyone know, and I appreciate you because you know what, I'm lamenting. I'm like, God, I'm losing. I'm selfishly like, I want this good ass kid to stay around, but I know you'll be back, and that'll be fun to have your stories and your experiences there.
Yeah, and I'll be bald.
And you're gonna be bald. Oh
Yeah,
my
it's gonna be funny.
God,
I'm leaving the mullet out for as long as possible.
dude, they're gonna shave your head. That's right.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're in Quince Ocha shirt. Am I gonna have to grow the hair out now?
Maybe.
Unbelievable.
I guess so.
Unbelievable. Yeah. So that is the path here that Isaac does. And you know, I want you guys to support him along this path because he's going out on a limb. He's going into the chaos zone. I mean, honestly, the macroeconomic and the military environment doesn't look too calm. This young man is looking to better himself out there. So I want you guys to support him along the way here. His hair will grow back. I need more hair and glasses. I can't do it. I can't do that. I have glasses. I like the contacts, man. I like the contacts a lot. So what we're doing in terms of trading, let's take a look at it here. In terms of trading, you know, after the stream goes down, you know, I am pretty wary of 106. I am pretty wary of 106. Ethereum and Solana have been enticing me. Right now we are sitting here bound. Let's go over to TradingView to see if we have any of our long signals coming in, because I was looking at it in the investor group Discord this morning, and I was just being a little bit wary. Okay, wait a minute, hold up. But I've been making a lot of money trading lately, so I want to, you know, kind of look for that next entry point. Right now is looking hairy as hell. Is looking hairy. Longs are in danger right now. Longs would be in danger right now. Seeing this on the 15-minute. You know, I think I drew the level. I remember where the exact level was, though. So I'm just going to draw it on this. It was 106.3. It's like the top of this shelf. The previous resistance spots here, previous resistance twice here. And this is kind of the general spot. If we do get a big washout, then I am looking for a heavier handed long on Bitcoin. I'm much more effective at trading Bitcoin than anything else out on the market. So I'm just acknowledging my strengths here. I will admit that, you know, Solana and Ethereum have been enticing to me, but I also acknowledge where I'm the most effective, and that is in Bitcoin's playground. The washout that we saw while Deezy was talking there, and TJ and Josh took us down to this kind of local shelf. And now we're at this proving point. Can it hold? We do have volatility to the downside. And one thing about this is we are seeing the VWAP clip up. So on the 15-minute entry signal, this is the general design as of right here. But then things are starting to break out a little bit. And we do have Trump getting ready to speak later on into the day. So that being said, I'm being patient about it. I'm watching 106. Let's go over to Coin Glass as well to see if we can get any juice out of the liquidation levels, to see where those are at. CPI data comes out tomorrow. That's a good highlight there, Mr. Gustavos. Now let's go here.
We got a juicy amount on both sides.
Yeah, I mean the upside's pretty weighted on the shorter term, but there is like about just under 100 mil that I can wash out if it falls down to 107.8. But that's a lot actually up here. This is like in the $200 million range just to pump to 110.7 again. That's interesting. Okay. Not much on the 24-hour either. This is a couple hundred mil still to grab in the 111 spot. Ooh. Okay. Okay. And here's the general 106 watch out level, the 106.5, right? On the this is a larger time frame, 48 hours time frame.
Mhm.
Whew. This is a toss up here because the shorter time frames are showing upside. Man. Okay. So I'm just gonna have to remain steadfast. We have ripped really, really hard today. I do want to go look at Coin 360 here. Let's check it out. All right. The landscape looks green. It looks juicy. XRP in the red somehow. What the hell's going on there? XRP Army, don't give up now. You can, XRP people, you can double this. This market, this is going to double, I think. Now, is it going to 10x this market? No. But it will, in my opinion, I think it's going to double. This is not financial advice, of course. But, you know, there's upside there. Ethereum, going to have some major headwinds at 4K at this point. Major head. Like, I think the move up to 4K will be pretty violent on ETH.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm being careful about that. Solana's like 300. Like, I think reclaiming that previous high is doable, but that early rip from 10 to $300, man, that is going to be hard to outdo. There's a lot of profit takers in the middle of that. Uniswap, Aave, like these DeFi protocols with this license to chill from the SEC are going to have a lot of fun. And that's where, you know, kind of the plays on base are most exciting to me. Let's check out the old watch list here. Aerodrome is up 12% today. That's great. It's not dead. Chainlink, the second biggest pumper in this particular list at $15.26. Wake me up when we break $30. Holy God. You know, the end of the year is really what I have to watch out for on Chainlink. And it, in general, the higher lows, this looks fine. This looks fine. It's just been aggravating seeing it fall from the $30 down to the $15 range. But it's got higher lows built upon it, and Swift CCIP fees kick off in November this year, which is in line with that kind of blow off top watch out zone. So, you know, I'm well allocated to Chainlink. You know, it is what it is. I wish that I had honestly more at that $5 buy point that I did.
Yeah.
So I'm just letting what I got ride. Now, ETH, I got like maybe $100 left of ETH. A vast, like major majority. I don't even count that I have any Ethereum. This is just
gas fees.
Well, I mean, gas fees, but I don't even really need them because I use base.
Exactly.
Morpho looking good. We're looking great from that hammer point at 87 cents. It's at $1.53, so nearly up 100% still from that. Moonwell, I am up technically on Moonwell because the entry point as of last was 3 cents. So up technically on Moonwell. More so that MAMO agent really perks my interest on there. Ondo been hella sleepy. What the hell is going on with Ondo? Ondo, AVAX, God, I gotta wake up. All right. How are we not bullish on ETH? I'm bullish on ETH. I think that ETH can at least get back to that $4,000 level, but it's got headwinds, it's got competitors. So I'm just trying to acknowledge the new landscape here. In the background, you know, it is in my mind that with all of these new setups of layer twos and with all of these competitive, like Ethereum has never had such stiff competition as it has right now. I am being cognizant of that. Ethereum, I could definitely see going, you know, in the bullish case to $800 billion market cap this cycle, which would breach it above those previous all-time highs. But it's got to work real hard to do it. And, you know, what I've learned and what's been reiterated, and I've known this all along, God, but just this blue-balled altcoin market, like when alt season moment that we've been in, has reiterated that patience wins above all. So with that being said, exercising patience is extremely important, especially if you are an altcoin holder. And then utilizing the pairing charts to know when to get the hell out, like this ETH to Bitcoin chart. Let's just take a look at it. ETH to Bitcoin chart. Because I think this is the one that most people are going to be watching as alts actually start to heat up. And yeah, we're getting some juice on the 15-minute, but really in aggregate, you got to look at this thing on the weekly. I would see an escape hatch moment if you see us run up to this downward trend line. Because if it can run 55% up against the backdrop, $150,000 Bitcoin, you got some major gains there. Bitcoin's in control of everything. It's great to just acknowledge that, and not get too, what do you call it, maximalish on an altcoin, because the ground of which crypto and this new financial system really is looking like it's walking upon is Bitcoin. So, just think about that. It looks like Kryptoni just longed Bitcoin. Let's check it out. He's longing it from here. Fine. Kryptoni, if you're doing it, I'll do it. Fine. I'm going in. Just because, we're going in together, right? We're going in together. Let's look at it, how much danger we're in right now. I got to have something that makes me feel as I go into the gym. I've been sitting here just like, I don't know.
Cracked off a pre.
Yeah, cracked off a pre, but also like I know where the market's going in general. And, I don't want to get freaking sidelined this whole damn day. Not again. Not again. Born to feel. All right. So we're definitely in danger, Mr. Freaking, what is this? Kryptoni. We're in danger. There's no denying this. And it's all your fault, Kryptoni. I don't know, man. I mean, it's bounced off of this original shelf pretty well here. We got the Trump talk today. And I mean, I know like I'm famous for like setting these YOLO moments in and then it never freaking hits. So,
Until you least expect it.
Until you at least expect it. That's right.
And then just hits it and runs away forever.
So we're in. I don't know what your leverage is. I did my standard 25x Bitcoin long. I got about 10% of the trading bag on this one. My stop loss is the amount of money that I'm willing to put in, which is 10% of the trading bag. It is what it is. So we're in danger, but where's my liquidation point on this? I'm feeling bullish this week. We're like sitting here with the chaotic factor of Trump saying everything's fine with China and China acknowledging that, and things go absolutely ballistic when those happen. So let's look at the MACD too. Let's look at the MACD. The MACD's to the downside. MACD's to the downside. Let's see on a larger time frames. Ooh, we even got a reset down to the downside on the hourly. Come on now, stop it.
Green hourly candle though. Holy Jesus.
Stop it. Look at this.
Oh my
Look at
God.
this. Same structure right here. Same structure. You get the little trigger wave on the VWAP. You give volatility to the downside, the rounding of the volatility, the green dot print. Shit, what did that end up with? Shit. That was a 4.5, 5% move. You're always feeling bullish. Might be the wrong species. I am going to have a time where I feel bearish, Mr. Patton McCrotch. But that's not now. That is not now. I'm trying to see through this general weekly signal. And I talked about it at the beginning of the stream, but honestly, guys, I feel very, very strongly that this weekly signal is going to ride us up to the 130 to 150 range over the next few months here. And if I can be there to catch that movement with leverage, that's where the move comes. That's when the move comes. Champ's asking when we hit 150. Usually it's taken. So we've had these signals twice before during this current bull market. And let's just do a quick measurement. I think this one is 180 days till we got the get out signal. Yeah, 175 days. I got a good memory. Almost like I do this for a living.
Almost.
Secondary get out signal here printed 126 days. The first one printed at 77 days. But both these like an average of 120, 130 days to fully play out. Now let's measure, because I think this one will probably move a little bit quicker than we expect. Let's see here. Print. We're currently 56 days into this. This plays out to expectations about August or September. And that's if it plays out to that same time frame. And then I'm watching for a reset to the downside. And then that final move up to my total expectation. This is what I'm looking for. you know, and I'm not being shy about it. This is my target. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But just based off of historical fibs, you know, I have all the historical. I don't need to go through them all. Maybe I will tomorrow. But according to historical fibs, price action, this green box is a diminished performance for Bitcoin. The blue box on TJ's side, that's still, you know, only accomplishing the upside that we had last market. And we have strategic reserves being talked about, DeFi, given a license to chill. We have a lot of really, really good things going on for Bitcoin. Want to check out the money flow? Let's check out the money flow, baby. Let's check out the money flow. The weekly money flow clip into the upside. Look at this. Look at it. Would you just look at it?
Gosh.
Looks like it's going down. Looks like the bull market's over. Then roll. Bull market is not over. Nice reset that we had here. And honestly, like, you know, Benjamin Cowan's top signal that we're watching out for, very, very concise. I'm going to use Ben Cowan's top signal that he's using along with the Pi Cycle top indicator for when I am ready to start. And you know what? I'm not going to short Bitcoin. I'm going to short altcoin when the Pi Cycle top indicator swaps. That's what I'm going to. So here, Pi Cycle top again. I mean, just plenty of room for activities on this. Plenty of room for activities. What do we got? 100x on $75. What did you tell me it was only $100? The assignment was unclear. Kryptoni. The assignment was unclear. And now I'm heavily overexposed. If it goes well, it's not your fault. If it doesn't go well, then it is your fault. I'm going to treat you as a crypto influencer gets treated. Because that's how it works there. I'm sure you all read the hundreds of thousands of pages in the bill. I have not read the hundreds of thousands of pages in the bill. The thing that I've read or just figured out is the spending goes up by 10 trillion by 2035. If Democrats had a hand, it would have been 15 trillion. So I guess that's good, but still a massive influx to overall spending, right? That's what it's like. What are we doing? And that's probably why Elon Musk got pissed, is because he read that, oh, you guys are just going to print 7 to 10 trillion. Anyways, besides all the bill, all of the work that I found, all the fraud that I found, they don't even care. They just want to go vote on the bill. That's why Elon's pissed, I think.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, now we got our long in. I'm in extreme danger thanks to Kryptoni, but it's fine. It's fine. It is what it is. I'm going to be looking out for that Trump speech later today. Isaac?
Yo.
I'm glad you came out and let everyone know you came out the closet today.
I came out the closet.
You know, I respect what
When you
you're
say
going
that,
to do, man.
I just want to say some not so nice words, but I can't because I like our channel. I like being visible to people.
Yeah. Yeah. I know the feeling. I know the feeling well. Well, I'm going to go hit the gym. I love and appreciate every single one of you out there. And I will see you on tomorrow's stream and early morning in the Discord to check out the markets, see where things have moved from there. We are on the knife's edge, man. Can we keep the pump going, or is a retest of those previous highs due? We'll see. I love you guys, and I'll see you real soon. Isaac, send us out.